What if I told you that Johnny Depp just showed up in public and fans totally couldn't believe what they saw? I mean, just think about that for a second. After everything he's been through over the past few years, after all the news stories, the arguments, the constant attention, seeing him like this again feels almost like a dream. It wasn't just another regular celebrity sighting. It felt like a big deal. And if you've been following his story, then you already know why. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been quiet. It's been really intense. From courtroom fights to endless news stories, Johnny Depp's life has been under a spotlight that never seemed to turn off. Everywhere you looked, there was another story, another opinion, another headline trying to explain who he was, what he did, and what would happen next. So, of course, people started to wonder, where is he now? What is he doing? Has he walked away completely? Or is he just waiting for the right time to come back? And then this happened. Johnny Depp was spotted out and about. No big announcement, no red carpet, no dramatic entrance, just him walking around, existing, being there. And somehow that simple moment turned into something much bigger. Because of how he looked, because of how he carried himself, because of what people felt when they saw him. People who were there said the same thing over and over. He looked relaxed, calm, and comfortable in his own space. And that might not sound like a big deal at first, but when you compare it to everything he's been through, it actually means a lot. Because for a long time, the image of Johnny Depp in public was connected to stress, pressure, and tension. But this time that wasn't there. Instead, people saw something different. They saw someone who looked lighter, someone who looked like he could finally breathe again. Some fans even said he looked healthier, more confident, more sure of himself. And maybe the most surprising part, he looked happy. Really happy. Not the kind of smile you give for cameras. Not the kind that feels fake, but the kind that just happens naturally. And that's what caught people off guard because after everything, that's not what they expected. When videos of this moment started showing up online, people reacted right away. People couldn't stop talking about it. Comments started flooding in. He looks like himself again. This feels like the old Johnny. I didn't expect to see him like this. And when you actually watch those clips, you understand why. There's a certain energy there, a calmness, a quiet confidence. It doesn't feel like he's trying to prove anything. It feels like he's just being himself again. And for fans who have been watching from far away, that means something. Because let's be honest, when someone goes through that level of people watching their every move, it changes how people see them. And sometimes it even changes how they see themselves. So seeing Johnny Depp step out like this, without hesitation, without fear, without hiding, it sends a message. Even if he didn't say a single word. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Before this moment, there were a lot of rumors going around. Some people thought he had completely stepped away from the public eye. Others thought he was done with Hollywood for good. And then there were those who believed he was quietly getting ready for a massive comeback. So which one is true? Well, this appearance gives us a clue because it doesn't feel like someone hiding, but it also doesn't feel like someone rushing back into the spotlight. It feels balanced, like he's choosing when and how to be seen. And that's a big difference because in the past, it often felt like things were just happening to him. Now, it feels like he's in control, and that changes everything. Think about it. When someone takes back control of their own story, the whole thing shifts. It's no longer about reacting. It's about deciding. In this moment, it feels like a decision, not a loud one. Not a dramatic one, but a quiet, confident step forward. Now, let's talk about something people often miss. Johnny Depp has always had a strong connection with his fans, and not just in the regular celebrity way. There's something more personal about it. Even during hard times, he didn't completely disappear from them. He didn't shut that connection off. And during this recent outing, that same connection was clearly there. People said he stopped, smiled, and noticed his fans. He wasn't rushing past them. He wasn't distant. He was present. And those small moments, they matter more than people think because they show that he's real. They show that behind everything, the fame, the headlines, the controversies, there's still a real person there. And that's what fans are responding to. It's not just about seeing Johnny Depp again. It's about feeling like they're seeing the real him again. And in today's world, that kind of realness stands out. Because let's face it, a lot of what we see online feels planned out, controlled, and designed. But this didn't feel like that. It felt natural, unplanned, real, and that's why it spread so fast, because people are drawn to moments that feel genuine. Now, let's take a step back for a second, because there's something deeper going on here. When a famous person goes through a major life event, especially something as intense as what Johnny Depp experienced, it doesn't just affect their career. It affects who they are. It affects how they move through the world. It affects how they show up in everyday life. So when we see him stepping out like this, looking calm, looking comfortable, it tells us something important. It tells us he's healing, not that everything is perfect, not that everything is solved, but that things are getting better. And sometimes getting better is the most powerful thing to see because it's real. It's not a sudden change. It's a slow shift. And that's exactly what this feels like. Now, here's another detail that fans picked up on. His style. Yes, even that became part of the conversation because Johnny Depp has always had a very unique look. And during this outing, that signature style was still there. The relaxed clothes, the easygoing vibe, the unique presence. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't trying too hard. It was just him. And for many fans, that was reassuring because it showed that despite everything, he hasn't lost himself. He hasn't changed into someone unrecognizable. He's still the same person deep down. And that consistency, it builds trust. Now, let's talk about something that a lot of people are wondering. Is this the beginning of a comeback? It's a fair question because in the world of celebrities, moments like this often lead to something bigger, a new project, a new appearance, a new chapter. But here's the thing. This doesn't feel like a regular comeback. It doesn't feel like a big announcement or a planned move. It feels more personal than that. More on purpose, more in control. And that might actually make it more powerful because instead of trying to go back to what was, he might be building something new, something that fits where he is now. And that's a very different kind of story. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. There have been quiet whispers, nothing confirmed, but enough to get people talking, that he might be working on new creative projects. Not necessarily the big Hollywood movies people expect, but something different, something more independent, more artistic, more true to who he is now. And if that's true, then this public appearance might not just be a random moment. It might be the first peek into that next chapter, not a loud return, but a small shift, a quiet beginning. And sometimes those are the most meaningful ones because they're not driven by pressure. They're driven by choice. Now, think about how rare that is. In an industry where everything is fast, loud, and always moving, taking a step back, moving at your own pace, choosing your own path, that takes guts. And that's exactly what this moment shows. Confidence, not the kind that needs attention, but the kind that exists quietly, steadily, without needing to prove anything. And that's why fans are reacting the way they are, because they're not just seeing Johnny Depp. They're seeing a version of him that feels grounded, present, real, and that hits different, especially after everything that's happened. So when people say they're stunned, it's not just about the fact that he was spotted. It's about how he showed up. It's about what that moment means. It's about the feeling it created. Because sometimes the most powerful moments aren't the loudest ones. They're the quiet ones, the unexpected ones, the ones that make you stop and think. And this was one of those moments. Now, it all comes back to that question. What does this mean going forward? Is this the start of something bigger? Or is it simply a look into a new, kind of normal for him? The honest answer is we don't fully know yet. And maybe that's okay, because not everything needs to be figured out right away. Sometimes it's enough to just watch the story unfold, one moment at a time. And right now, this moment is enough to remind people of something important. That change is possible, that healing is real, and that sometimes the most unexpected comebacks don't start with big announcements. They start with simple moments like a walk outside, a smile, a connection. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think when you see Johnny Depp like this? Do you feel like this is the beginning of a real comeback? Or do you think he's simply enjoying life away from all the noise and pressure? Maybe it's not even about coming back. Maybe it's just about moving forward. Either way, one thing is clear. People are watching again, but this time it feels different. And maybe, just maybe, that difference is exactly what makes this moment so powerful.